start with the most least amount of assistance to the most max assist for each resident. Starting with number 5, setup or cleanup assistance, where the helper sets up or cleans up only. Resident completes activity most of the time. Helper only is setting up the tray, letting the resident eat, and then picking up the tray afterwards. And then you set up and leave.
Thank you.
The helper returns to the room and picks up the tray and takes it out of the room. Then we're going to be talking about level of assistance 04, where it's only supervision and touching assistance. You are the helper providing verbal cues or touching and staying by while setting up the tray for the resident, where you are not helping any activity of the eating. Assistance may be provided throughout the activity or intermittently only.
So when I put it down, you need to remind me this is the eating. This is the eating side.
Because I said verbal cues, yeah, and touching. Once resident has completed, you will be picking up the tray and returning it back into the meal carts. The next level of assistance we're calling is 03, partial moderate assistance, where the helper does less than half the effort. The resident will still perform more than half the effort. However, the helper can lift, hold, or support the trunk of the limb of the resident, however, still providing less than half the support. Once the resident has finished eating, you will pick up the rest of the tray and return it back into the meal cart. The next level of assistance is 02, substantial and maximal assistance, where the helper this time does most of the assistance, providing the food for the resident. The resident gets most of the help from the helper by lifting or holding their trunk or limbs and providing more than half the effort. If resident fails to eat, the helper can assist with the rest of the meal for the resident by touching and providing verbal cues and providing truncal support. Once the resident has completed, you will pick up the tray and return it to the meal cart. The last level of assistance is 01, also known as dependent, where the helper does all of the effort. The resident does none of the effort or to complete the activity, or it takes assistance of 2 or more helpers is required for resident to complete this activity. You will be cutting up the food, doing verbal cues, and also feeding the resident throughout the entire meal. Once the resident has completed the meal, you will now pick up all the tray and then return the tray back to the meal cart.